Billy Cobham Spectrum. It's just legendary. It's epic fusion. It is an insane album. It is just a triumph of skill and art. Hello, thanks for joining me on Life and Surround. Tonight, I have the immense pleasure of sitting down and listening to the entirety of batch number 7 from Rhino Quadio. So I just sat and listened to Aretha live at Fillmore West, and next I'm going to listen to Curtis Mayfield Roots, and then the Spinners Pick of the Litter, and finally Billy Cobham Spectrum. Now, the cool thing about all four of these Blu-rays is that they contain high resolution lossless stereo, but also the original quadraphonic mix from the 70s. Plus, a lot of people don't know, but Spectrum has a hell of an Easter egg. It has the circa early 2000s 5.1 mix as well. So it's got 2.0, 4.0, and 5.1, this one. And the rest of the Blu-rays have 2.0 and 4.0. Many of you watching probably already know that, but for the uninitiated, I love quadraphonic music. So I'm sitting tonight in my quad station and I'm listening to Quadio from Rhino, batch number 7. We have Aretha Franklin, Curtis Mayfield, the Spinners, and Billy Cobham. And this is just it's in honor of Black History Month, so happy Black History Month, everybody. It's a United States thing. And so I'm super duper excited about these titles. I love soul, and I also just like Spectrum is legendary, like in the multi-channel lovers world. So anyway, thoughts so far about Aretha live at Fillmore West. It is an on-fire show. As somebody who lives near San Francisco and I actually go to Fillmore West, it's really cool to hear a show there. Um, a couple of the tracks have a technical difficulty with some buzzing, so Love the One You're With and Dr. Feelgood both have some noticeable moments of some length where there's an audible, humming or buzzing from, equipment feedback. I'm sure that the audience on the night of the show had to endure that as well. It really does put you there. Most of the show sounds just simply wonderful. The band rocks. Aretha brought a bit of a rock edge because she knew that this was like a classic rock venue. Big band. You've got horns. You've got her in excellent voice. You've got an awesome rhythm section, guitar work. Uh, you mostly hear audience in the surrounds on this one, in the rears. Occasionally, some instrumentation bleeds back there, but I'm pretty sure it was just maybe like from really loud instrument the night of reverberating back into the audience area. There's nothing in this mix that really convinces me that there's discrete musical information in the rears. So it's like you're in the crowd at the show. And so on those grounds, I do recommend this. Respect, Love the One You're With, Bridge Over Troubled Water, Eleanor Rigby, and Spirit in the Dark reprise with Ray Charles are all standouts here. So this is not an amazing quadraphonic mix. And so, like, if you want to just enjoy it in stereo, Spotify, go for it. I do recommend checking out this show. This is a very, very cool um, version of Aretha Franklin that I've only heard on this show. It rocks. It's really cool. All right, so now on to Curtis Mayfield, and then the Spinners, and then Billy Cobham, and I'll be back to report on each one. This is my evening of Quadio Batch 7 from Rhino Records. So thank you, Rhino Records, for a nice, relaxing evening around here. I sure do need it. Moving right along, we have Roots by Curtis Mayfield. This is quite the change of pace from the Aretha live album. We have a very active quadraphonic mix, often some strings and horns and other elements such as percussion are featured prominently in your rears and your surrounds. You have Mr. Mayfield front and center, Phantom center. And you have drums and bass also up front. There's guitar work here. This album features quite a bit of African rhythms, and that maybe, have something to do with the title of the album. I find standouts to be Keep On, Keeping On, and Love to Keep You in My Mind. So, though this album doesn't have any of Curtis Mayfield's most popular tracks, this is, in my opinion, a pretty damn strong album. You get a call to just have a good time with the opening track, and then we come down in tone a bit, and there's some songs about, resisting cultural prejudice. And then the album closes with a song about lost love, and then finally a song about current love that is obviously very moving and very meaningful and very fulfilling, at the time. So this is a cool album. It's a good quadraphonic mix. My one knock against this would be I love the track, love to keep you in mind so much that and it's written love to keep you in my mind on the back of the case here, but then on the Blu-ray menu, it's love to keep you in mind. So I bet it's love to keep you in my mind because that's what he keeps singing. Anyway, I love the track so much. Here it sounds mastered a little bright to me, which is a shame because the rest of the album doesn't sound that way. And so my favorite track is like the one that sounds a bit bright to me. You know, um, it's a it's not, it's a good problem to have, right? Uh, this is a cool album, a really, really cool quadraphonic experience. I definitely recommend this. Just wanted to give a word of caution about the mastering on the final track. You may not agree with me, or you may like have some EQ that you can employ that may, really fix that track up. I bet if it sounds superb, like it's quite a stellar quadraphonic experience. I still enjoyed it myself. Just wanted to be honest about how I feel about the mastering of the final track. That's all. So anyway, moving along to the spinners. Happy Valentine's Day, by the way, everybody. That's one thing I wanted to mention. Love to Keep You in My Mind is a great Valentine's Day track to either play for someone before the evening is out or send to them. You're gonna see this after Valentine's Day probably, but anyway, happy Valentine's Day. Moving on to the spinners, pick of the litter. Now is probably the right time to mention that I made a best guess at my least to most favorite order, and I've been listening to these Blu-rays in what I thought would be my preference from least to most favorite. So we have the third title now. This is the Spinners, Pick of the Litter. We have the strongest album sonically so far of the batch, and I just love the Spinners. There are a couple of tracks here that I don't feel are their strongest ever, but Games People Play and Just as Long as We Have Love to close this album out are super strong Spinners tracks. And like in honor of, Valentine's Day that we were just talking about a moment ago, Just as Long as We Have Love, that is definitely one to share with a Valentine. And the album is kind of spans the range of love, everything from like GTFO to being sad that somebody has decided to go to reminding someone that they ought to be faithful to uh, you know just having faith in the long lasting nature of a loving bond. So you get a little bit of it all on this album, and you get that Spinners smoothness. Some of it's upbeat, some of it's mellow. It's all smooth. You have that Philadelphia sound going on. Um, yeah, and I love soul. So, this Black History Month Quadio Batch 7 is really, doing it for me. And indeed, we've gone from my least to most preferred so far. So let's see if the fourth and final title just completely, takes my, the top spot for me. I bet it will. I've got Billy Cobham on in the background right now. I don't know how well that'll come through on this microphone, but holy, this album is on fire. This is so cool. The Rhino Quadio version has the original quadraphonic mix, the later, early 2000s 5.1, and lossless high-res stereo. I'm listening to the original quad right now. I happen to have the audio fidelity version, and I'm hearing that this is a more lively master, that the audio fidelity sounds flat by comparison. I might compare a track or two before the evening is done. But anyway, listening to the original quad from the Rhino Quadio Blu-ray right now. This is called Stratus, I think. Man, if you ever need to feel motivated in life, like put this track on. It's got a bass line that would make Massive Attack very jealous. Anyway, bye for now. All right, so Billy Cobham Spectrum. We have the new Rhino Quadio that features the Easter egg of all Easter eggs, the album mixed in 5.1 from some time ago. And then, as I mentioned before, I also have the Audio Fidelity Super Audio CD. And I'm going to go ahead and agree with my friends on Quadraphonic Quad. I hear what they're talking about, how the mastering of the audio fidelity is flatter. And I guess that would make the Blu-ray a bit, fatter, a bit livelier. And, I'm not sure which I prefer, though. Like maybe somebody would prefer the flatter rendering. Maybe that's somehow a bit truer to the tape, and by comparison, like any EQing might sound hyped to them. But anyway, I like both. I guess I like the vibrance of the Blu-ray a little better, but I think an argument could be made for having a flat rendering around. I guess I like that I have both. And now I don't think I have Spectrum on DVD audio. I don't think I ever got the DVD of it. I think I was so excited that Audio Fidelity was releasing it on Super Audio CD. I was like around for this. I didn't get this on the secondhand market. This is my copy, number 1274. So anyway, this is definitely my pick, my winner of the bunch from, Quadio Batch 7, Billy Cobham Spectrum. It's just legendary. It's epic fusion. It is an insane album. It is just a triumph of skill and art. You've got drums, bass, guitars, keys, all just mesmerizing. You've got super hyphy all the way to just about as mellow and chill as it gets. This is an insane record, and you have two choices for quadraphonic in optical, and then of course there's analog. I probably have this on CD4. Anyway, so Quadio, we have the spinners, pick of the litter. Curtis Roots. So another few of my CD4 LPs that are now obsolete. So thanks for that, Rhino. And for those not, in the know, Rhino Quadio is lovingly curated by a friend of the multi-channel lovers community, Foraging Rhino over on Quadraphonic Quad. Um, the man deserves a lot of thanks and appreciation, and I hope that we can support Quadio, the latest batch 7, with some sales. We have Aretha Franklin, Curtis Mayfield, the Spinners, and Billy Cobham's Spectrum. And I'm going to go ahead and say that even if you have the Audio Fidelity Super Audio CD, you do need the new Rhino Quadio Blu-ray. It's a different mastering, and I can't say whether you'll like the flatter mastering better or not. I also like again how Rhino the Blu-ray looks like the label from the LP. I always think that's a nice touch. And then I noticed when I was looking at these booklets earlier that they included pictures of the master tapes. Some master tape porn. Y'all know I love some master tape porn. And I'm keeping my hype stickers. So I do have the hype stickers for these. So anyway, thank you, Steve from Rhino, Forging Rhino. This is a labor of love, I'm sure. I hope that the sales come through for this batch. So far, we're looking at, we're speculating at batch 8. So this is great. These are, 4 Blu-rays at a time of classic quadraphonic albums, and then sometimes with like a little goodie thrown in, like an entire album in 5.1 this time. So I hope this has been a helpful video for you. I encourage you to go support Rhino and their Quadio series. I love Quad, and if you have 4 full range speakers all around you, Quad is definitely, a candidate for you. And then maybe if you have more of a modern setup, like, big fronts and satellites and stuff, maybe that's a good reason to pick up Spectrum because of the 5.1 mix. It's going to probably sound more balanced on a modern system. So anyway, I happen to like the quad better than the 5.1 for Spectrum. There's differences in the level of mastering. For one thing, the 5.1 was mastered quite a bit quieter, but even when I brought it up to volume to where I had been like really rocking the quad, I just felt like the quad was just, I don't know, a bit more present, and that the 5.1 was like trying to kind of run away from me a little bit. 5.1 was giving me more space than I wanted. I wanted to really just be dropped into the thick of the madness of Spectrum, and I think the quad does that the best. All right? And I think the quad Blu-ray does that the best of the best. So, but if you have the SACD, I think it's an enjoyable enough thing that I don't think you need to go get the Blu-ray, but like you do though. So anyway, I hope this has been helpful. I have enjoyed my evening of totally geeking out in my quad station. Some wonderful albums, a couple of which I would not have checked out if it weren't for Quadio. So I love that about multi-channel listening. It does bring me to some surprise pleasures. And so this time I'm going to have to rank Spectrum as my top pick and then the Spinners pick of the litter. For my vote, I really think everybody should go pick those up. And then for Roots and for Live at the Fillmore West, I think there are some issues that could keep some buyers away. I really do recommend purchasing all these. I've already gone and voted on Quadraphonic Quad. I gave Aretha a 7, Curtis an 8, the Spinners a 9, and Billy a 10. And 7 through 10, that those all fall well within my recommended range. I just wanted you to know about some issues. Definitely Spectrum. I absolutely recommend Spectrum. It should be in everybody's collection, really. It should. And then I just love the Spinners. So, and the album sounds great, and there's some gems on there. There's a couple of songs that are gems on there, and a reasonably big hit in games people play. So anyway, that's enough for now. Thank you for watching. I appreciate your support. And I'm off to the slopes, enjoying a few days. I just finished midterms at grad school, and I just needed like a mental break. So this has been a great night of quadraphonic listening and then sharing the experience with you all. But it's back to the books soon. So I'll try to get a video out every now and then. There is some exciting stuff I have sitting around and that I have heard and that I'm yet to hear. So I'll be around occasionally. And so until next time, live life in surround.